Another big issue that has been playing on my mind is the impending climate disaster. If you've listened to other episodes, if you follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you will know that I'm going part-time vegetarian to try and cut down on meat, which as an industry is a big carbon consumer. The point has been raised to me that so is arable farming, that parts of the Amazon are being burned down for arable land. But the deal with meat is that the animals need a space to grow as well as a space to grow the food. And so that's a whole double amount of carbon, double amount of space, double amount of workload before we even go through the processing of the meat, the transporting of the meat. It's an issue. For me, as something I can do immediately, I think this is an easy one. Like literally, as I've said before, I've cut down maybe 2 to 3 days a week of eating meat. I don't know what the impact is. It's something I should look up. But a UN and intergovernmental panel on climate change, the IPCC, study recommended that going vegetarian is something that we all need to consider if we're going to put a dent in this. I do believe that there's just one thing. We need to take care and deal with plastics. That's another thing. But a lot of the changes that can have the most impact have to be institutional. We have to have government legislation making changes and making changes to big businesses and imposing and enforcing these changes. It's the only way it's going to happen, in my opinion. But it all starts with individual action. And this is mine. This is what I have chosen to do. I'm not forcing it on anyone, except maybe Patri, because I cook for her. But it's what I think should be done. And like I say, it's an easy solve, an easy win for me. And I think if we all cut down on meat just 1 to 2 to 3 days a week, that would have a fair old impact. Those things add up. I have discovered, though, this week, that lab-grown meat has taken huge strides. Now, I remember reading about lab-grown meat probably some 5 years ago, when scientists used stem cells to create pain-free and low-carbon emission burger. It did, however, cost an absolute fortune. And, of course, there was plenty of controversy about whether lab meat was safe or healthy or natural, similar to this absurd GMO conversation of, like, was it early 2000s? I remember seeing it a lot, like, as a kid in supermarkets, like, genetically modified foods. These foods are non-GMO, is it? GMO-free? I don't know. Organic, non-GMO. GMO is just one of those things that's literally saving the world. Like, corn. Corn is a very important product. We use it for oil, we use it for fuel, we use it to feed animals, we use it to eat, we use it to process various other things. Corn has been genetically modified to be resistant to bacteria, to illness, and also to grow faster and more efficiently. The GMO is a good idea. just check it out. And then, of course, with lab-grown meat, there was also these doubts from like the meat-eating purists, which was me once upon a time, of whether it would live up to the expectation of being real meat. Like, I want real meat in my burger. I, for one, I've been down to eat lab meat from the very beginning, at least just to try it. My attitude to all things food is I don't want to look back and think I could have eaten that. In the past couple of years, though, we have seen the meatless burger grow into fame with the Beyond Meat and Impossible Foods burgers. Have you seen those? The Beyond Meat burger and the Impossible burger? I'm not going to lie, I don't know how they work. It's a vegetarian meat substitute, but apparently it has the real texture of meat, and apparently it's good. It's caused quite a stir. Apparently it's healthy, environmentally friendly. Good. Win-win, you know? And it's delicious, apparently, so win-win-win. Now, though, it seems that lab-grown meat is back. Amy Rowett, as an associate professor of integrative biology and physiology at the University of California, explains that all the food we eat is made of cells. So developing lab meat is just a natural fit. So I guess it's developing anything, you know? She explains in real simple layman's terms that cells are taken from an animal's muscle and put into what's kind of like a nutrient-rich broth so that it sort of encourages them to multiply and grow into muscle fibers. So basically they're growing animal muscles in a dish, in a petri dish. So it's real meat. Like, it's real animal muscle. But with one key difference is that animals don't have to be raised or killed to produce it. They just take some stem cells and grow more muscle cells. More meat cells. Like, It's literally growing meat, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'd love to see it kind of in action. Maybe there's a YouTube video. Rora's determined to produce 1 billion quarter pounder burgers. She says it takes 1.2 million cows living for 3 years on 8,600 square kilometres of land before even slaughtering them, transporting them. So that's 3 years of feeding them, 3 years of housing them on 8,600 square kilometres of land before processing, transporting. Apparently, the same number of culture burgers would require the muscle stem cells of just one living cow, because they can take the stem cells from a living cow and the cow just regenerates them, I guess. Like it's an infinite supply of meat. And they take only about a month and a half to grow. So that's like 3 years, 8,600 square kilometers of land, slaughtering animals. Or one living animal stays living, month and a half in a lab. The maths does itself, you know. Predictions are that lab meat could cost around $3 to $6 per pound by 2020, and Roa believes that cultured meat or lab meat will eventually be more or less on par cost-wise with organic beef. Another selling point of lab meat is that it could actually be healthier than bad killing animal carbon consuming meat. She says, imagine genetically modifying the cellular components so that they produce healthier molecules of your the cultured lab meat. For example, to make it lower fat, or one with more healthy fats, omega-3s, to make it more delicious. I don't know, like the possibilities. What do you reckon? Could you eat lab meat? Do we really know what kind of meat we're eating anyway?